Pokémon Moms are a pretty overlooked part of the franchise. So let's remedy that by giving every Pokémon a champion level team. Happy Mother's Day and all. We start with the very first Kanto Mom, Red and Leaf's mom, better known for her anime counterpart, Delia Ketchum. And canonically, Delia did want to be a Pokemon trainer before having Ash. The team of Red and Leaf's mom would be Mr. Mime, Dodrio, Persian, Raichu, Rapidash, and Nidoqueen. Mr. Mime is of course a reference to Mimey in the anime, with Mr. Mime even being found south of Pallet Town for this. And yeah, let's just get it out of the way now. A lot of these teams come from supplemental material, cause the game counterparts don't really have a personality outside of stay-at-home housewife mom, which to be clear we respect. But going back to the team, Dodrio is also an anime reference, appearing on top of a roof in the first episode. In fact, excluding the opening, Dodrio is the first Pokemon physically present. And who's to say this couldn't have been the roof of the Ketchum family? Persian comes from how much Delia liked Ash's Litten, so I can see Red's mom being fond of Kanto's own feline. This could also be a nod to the fan theory that Giovanni is Ash's father. Like Mr. Mime being a nod to Mimey, Raichu is a nod to Ash's Pikachu, who Delia is very fond of, on top of Viridian Forest being close by. Rapidash references the only time we may have seen Ash's dad, where we see that he at least had a Rapidash. But seeing as how Ash's dad is kind of a deadbeat, I can see Delia catching one to not ruin that Pokemon for Ash. Yeah, I know, this is slowly turning into what if Delia was champion. But again, not much of a personality outside of mother for Red's mom. But finally, we have Nidoqueen, who has no connection to Delia. Instead, this simply comes down to Nidoran being found near Pallet Town, and Nidoqueen is a pretty motherly Pokemon herself. Staying in Kanto, we have Chase and Elaine's mom, who's somehow even more bland than Red's mom. At least she got abandonment issues in the Johto games. As such, the team will mostly stay the same, but I would swap Dodrio for Marowak and Persian for Kangaskhan. Since this mom is one of the more generic ones, we may as well go all in. Let's Go has that beautiful cutscene between Cubone and his mom, so that's where Marowak comes from. And Kangaskhan is the mother Pokemon. I only didn't give Red's mom one because she has some personality, even if Delia was doing most of the heavy lifting. But with this mom, I think it fits a little better. Now we get to the Johto Mom, who, fun fact, has internal Gen 2 data suggesting that players would have given her a name. Ethan, Chris, and Lyra's mom, who I'ma just name Debbie, would have Charizard, Raichu, Snorlax, Blossom, Kingler, and Hypno. Okay, funny thing is, this team could actually be canon. The first three are based on Pokédolls that Debbie can buy in Gen 2. A Charmander doll, a Pikachu doll, and a Snorlax doll. This could say that these are some of her favorite Pokemon. Then for the latter three, the Johto Mom is kind of a trainer in the manga. In the manga, her house is known as the Poké House. This is due to all the Pokemon she raises in her home. And these Pokemon were, paraphrased by Bulbapedia, given by trainers, caught by Gold's mother, or had settled there. And so I picked out three of the Pokemon I thought fit the team, for Oddish, Krabby, and Drowsy. Next up is the Hoenn Mom, and interestingly, the family claims to be from Allvine City in the games, but then claims to be from Goldenrod City in the manga. The team of Brennan and May's mom would be Machamp, Slacking, Lantern, Magnezone, Wigglytuff, and Alakazam. Machamp and Slacking comes from the Pokemon who help the family move. Machoke from Ruby, Sapphire, and Oras, and Vigoroth from Emerald. Plus, Slacking would be a nice nod to her husband, Norman. The rest of these Pokemon are ones found near Allvine and Goldenrod. Chinchou is found in Allvine Port. Magnemite is found in Route 39, north of Allvine City. Jigglypuff is found in Route 34, south of Goldenrod City. And Abra is found in Route 35, north of Goldenrod City, a team that shows the family's new life in Hoenn and their old life in Johto. Now we have Johanna and Sinnoh, the first named Pokémon. Like most Pokémoms, she's a single mother, but in early Diamond and Pearl builds, the father was also gonna be present. The leftovers of these script files are also present in BDSP. Johanna's team would be Kangaskhan, Purugly, Umbreon, Lopunny, Seaking, and Clefable. Johanna is the first of these mothers who've canonically had Pokemon, and unlike Delia, she has Pokemon both in-game and in the anime. In the games themselves, she has Jumpy the Kangaskhan in contests. However, Kangaskhan isn't in any of the Sinnoh regional dexes, so either Jumpy would only appear in post-game battles, or this would be a Sinnoh game where Kangaskhan is in the regional dex. But if Kangaskhan isn't in the dex, Bibarel can take her place, with Bidoof being found north of Twinleaf Town. Then in the anime, Johanna has a Glameow and Umbreon, easily giving us 2 more team members for her. Lopunny is a reference to Kira and her Baniri, Kira being a contest judge who's also friends with Johanna. Seaking can be fished up in the pond in Twinleaf Town. Plus, the Seaking line are commonly on beauty trainer teams. Finally, Clefable comes from Clefairy being an Amity Square Pokemon, which Johanna would have been to thanks to its location in Hearthome, overall giving Johanna a team that's both fit for battle and contests. Next we enter Unova for Hilbert and Hilda's mom, and she's actually the Pokemon who inspired this video, as she makes it sound like she was once a Pokemon trainer herself. How cool would it have been if she was the surprise champion? Her team would be a starter, an elemental monkey, Unpheasant, Swoobat, Liepard, and Gothitelle. If the first Unova mom once went on a journey, she must have had a starter. Maybe she'd even have the same starter the player ends up choosing. She'd then get the correlating elemental monkey, the one with a type disadvantage against her starter. Unpheasant and Swoobat comes from the opening scene of Black and White, where Pidoof fly across the screen if it's day, or Woobat if it's night. Then the Liepard and Gothitelle lines are commonly used by lass trainers. If the Black and White mom was a trainer, she likely used to be a lass, and so she'd likely have Pokemon that trainer class has in Unova. We stay in Unova for Nate and Rose's mom, whose team would be Audino, Wigglytuff, Watchog, Liepard, Scolipede, and Crobat. Nate and Rose's mom used to work at a Pokemon Center in the games, and in the manga, she and Rosa used to be members of Team Plasma, and so this team references both of these canons for her backstory. Audino and Wigglytuff are common Nurse Joy partner Pokemon, and the other 4 are common Team Plasma Pokemon, and I think Crobat is most notable as a friendship evolution, which would show the character arc she had after leaving Team Plasma. Now we have Grace, the Kalos Mom. Her team would be Rhyperior, Talonflame, Gogoat, Mamoswine, Klefki, and Beedrill. Rhyperior comes from the fact that Grace was once a Rhyhorn racer, especially with the pet Rhyhorn the Kalos family have. The same goes for Talonflame, referencing the fletchling that visits the player and Grace. And from this point onwards, every Pokemon has at least one pet, so that'll make my job a little easier. Skidoo and Mamoswine are rideable Pokemon in X and Y. In the manga, a Klefki helped break Grace out of a Team Flare jail cell? Man, what happened there? And Weedle is found in Route 2, and with Beedrill, Grace would have a Pokemon she could Mega Evolve. Next up we have the Alola Mom, who people originally theorized was an adult Shauna. The team of Elio and Celine's mom would be Persian, Raichu, Toucannon, Lycanroc, Alola and Muck, and Tentacruel. The Alola Mom has a Meowth pet, who actually battles in a side quest. The Alola family are theorized to be from Vermilion City in Kanto, what with the signed autograph from Lieutenant Surge in the player's room. So Cantonian Raichu references that, being Lieutenant Surge's ace. Raichu can also reference the surfing minigame in Pokemon Yellow, and the Alola Mom used to be a surfer. In her concept art, a Pikipek is seen giving her keys to her. Rockruff is in Route 1, and gives her a Pokemon with a signature Z move. And Alolan Muck and Tentacruel are Kanto references, Muck being the Alolan counterpart, and Tentacruel is found in Melameta Sea. Now we have the Galar Mom, or should I say, Mum. The team of Victor and Gloria's Mum would have is Snorlax, Roserade, Butterfree, Serena, Manectric, and Gardevoir. Munchlax is the pet Pokemon the Galar family have. They also seem to have some Badoo as seen when you leave the house. Snorlax also gives Mum an easy Gigantamax Pokemon. Side note, would have been cool if the Munchlax was a gift Pokemon, one who actually would Gigantamax. since without the DLC, there's very few options for Gigantamax Pokemon. Anyways, with the way Mom wears overalls and has baby Pokemon, it makes me think she could fit in Galar's Pokemon Breeder Trainer class. And so the rest of these Pokemon are ones used by Galarian breeders. Butterfree also has the bonus of Caterpie being found in Route 1. Finally, we end with the Paldea Mom, who with British dialect like Cuppa is believed to be from Galar. The team Florian and Juliana's mom would have is Radiant, Appleton, Drifblim, Hatterene, Spidops, and Cloyster. The Paldean family have a Squilvet pet. In the player's room, there's stickers of Applin, Drifloon, and Hatena. On top of that, these Pokemon are also in the base Galar decks. For Spidops, Tarantula is found in Poco Path, close to where the player's house is in Cabo Poco. Speaking of which, Cloyster is also found near Cabo Poco, with their evolutionary line being found in the South Paldean Sea. Plus, worst case scenario, Cloyster can become a cooking ingredient. And Appleton too, now that I think about it. Heck, who's to say Gradient would be off the table? And there you have it, folks. Every Pokemon Mom if they had a champion level team. What do you think about these teams? What teams would you give the Pokemon Moms? Which Pokemon do you think is the best mother? Let me know in the comments below. And become a member if you're interested. It's only $2 a month. Have a nice day, you wonderful people. Feliz Días de Madres, mami. Te quiero mucho.